Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to a proper Sitting Down with Soul Writer. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I am your soul writer, author of sci-fi fantasy with dashes of romance and nerdy references. Alongside the raw stories my characters weave through time, I help other writers through my editing and coaching to set their stories to Phoenix mode. Today is that surprise part 3 that I tried to squeeze into part 2 of my plot wall reconstruction and prep for Preptober stuff. We're actually going to do some astrological character creation today. We're going to build a character sheet or two. Thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and rock it out. Welcome on back, everybody. So last time you saw me transfer everything on my plot wall, for the most part, into the beginnings of a file. I have gone back in and added a couple of things in the other tabs since then. More importantly, I'm going to go ahead and flesh out 2 character sheets with you completely. We met Micah, or Tuxedo Starlight, a little bit last time. We're going to get to know him much better today. And I know from a previous story, book 1, that I had to make a couple of decisions. Just like how with Micah's build over here, he's the in-between of Andy and Craig in every way. He is kind of that in personality. So keeping that in mind, I'm using astrological traits, some stereotypical for good and bad, to kind of construct these characters as a check and balances system to make sure I'm not rinse washing and repeating the same tale with the same people and the same mindsets again and again and again. It's kind of a personal way I use to make sure I have multiple layers to my characters and their relationships involved. I know from book 1 that Andy and Mitch are a Libra and an Aquarius. They go pretty good together. They are exact opposites if you were to look at an astrology wheel. And they are kind of the opposites attract mentality in every way, shape, and form. That definitely does apply to make them that kind of soulmate, in my opinion. But we're going to focus mostly on the fact that Andy, a Libra, has another friend soulmate in her Gemini best friend from the age of 3, Micah, who is the male love interest and focus for this book, book 2 of Vitae Elangica, the Captains of Zenith Falls. So in the previous book, it was only Andy and Mitch who had control of the POVs, and this time around it'll be Micah and his yet to be properly named lady. We are going to build her character list, but you all still have a final week to go and vote on what her name will be. I will reveal her name on my first Ask the Editor everything that I'm doing for October. Check my live stream tab for notifications to be set for that. And go ahead and check the community tab to have a final vote. There's a couple of other things to vote on over there, including what you would like the aesthetic of my next office to look like when we move here in a couple of months. Moving onward and getting back to astrological character creation, though. So, Micah is a Gemini. What do we know about Geminis? Well, he's the balance between Libra and Aries. Mind you, Libra and Aries don't always get along. They do sometimes, not always. They do sometimes, not always. But a Gemini is more likely to get along with an Aries, and a Libra is more likely to get along with a Gemini. You see where Micah is literally the fulcrum on 2 points between these 2 totally opposite friends. Micah and Andy did not meet Craig until middle school anyway, so he kind of always feels like the third wheel. That will come into play with book 3, The Commanders of Eloisa Cliffs, when we get into Tegan and Craig's story. Tegan is Micah's little sister. You'll know more about Tegan by the end of the book, I'm sure. So let's do some research on Geminis. Okay, I'm going to go to good old Google. I'm just going to go with personalities of a Gemini man, actually. Micah is a male and identifies as a man and prefers to date our unnamed lady that we're going to look at here in a little bit. We are actually going to decide her astrology today based on what he is compatible with, so we have some interesting interplay with them, okay? So, I do see that Astro Yogi comes up, Astro Talk, Cosmopolitan, Quora. They're all kind of what I would call your pop culture ones. They'll give you some things that are super, super stereotypical. So I'm going away from some of the top rated ones and going all the way down toward the bottom of the first page here for some different options. Aha, there's a couple of YouTube channels I could do a little listen in on as well. Let's see. Parade Allure. I don't want things from magazines. Well, good. Now, this is a name I know. I know well and good. Very, 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 very well. Some of my favorite astrological and spiritual people in the community, such as Tanae Stewart, have written articles and things for this. So I'm super duper glad to use this as a source just because I've seen a lot of other people and names pop up here that I've come across for previous research on astrology. So this is going to be your complete guide to Gemini personality traits for a complete understanding of, well, the twin sign. So that's something for me to keep in mind with Micah. He's always going to have this twin sign dichotomy about him. What I do like is right up front is they tell you who your experts are here. I know who Rachel Lang is. I've actually read that book, Modern Day Magic, 8 Simple Rules to Realize Your Power and Shape Your Life. Really good read, in my opinion. So I like that they actually show some credibility here as to who contributed to this article. So we want to know some key traits on Gemini. Aha, we're going to go right to these things here. I usually use their subheadlines as my keys just to give me some traits to give him. So he's going to, this is true about him from book 1. He is a clear communicator. He is the person in the game who gets the most lucky drops in their party. He has a very uncanny rate to get random number generation in a video game to play 3,000% in his favor pretty much all the time. Typical Gemini. He's a very fast learner. You figure this out about him in chapter 1 of book 1 when Craig, and Andy are all, well, kind of disagreeing about how Craig has poorly laid out his skill tree and level gain systems for the path that his character would grow. This is true of Micah as well. He goes with the flow, quick-witted. These are all things you learn about him just through his interactions with Andy. So I'm going to go ahead back to my file. We have Micah here. I don't really have any notes here about him specifically. I'm going to click next to the word medium and then on my with my mouse to get the cursor to go there on that table in OneNote, and then I'm going to click tab on my keyboard. It'll force the table to make a whole new row for me and start me on the farthest left-hand column. So I'm going to put astrological I spelled that wrong, personality traits. So this is more of a notes section, and I will make sure I spell astrological correctly. Would be nice if the editor and writing coach actually spelled stuff correctly. If you're looking for someone to spend some time with for this Preptober and NaNoWriMo, or if you want to lock in my current rates, visit the links below. Anywho, so astrological personality traits. Gemini. Well, apparently clicking the enter key gave me a new row. I'm going to click Control Z to undo, and then I'm going to click Shift Enter like a good nerd and use my keyboard controls without being, all Troa Bartony about clicking the triggers too quickly. Anyway, so Gemini, we are lucky. We are a good communicator. Let's see what else. He is also fun-loving. Using Alt-Tab on my keyboard to switch between the two screens instead of clicking with my mouse, if you're wondering. Goes with the flow. Sorry if it's making you nauseous going back and forth. Yes, I do this with my students and with my clients when I am coaching. Quick-witted, Alt-Tab. Often quick to answer and often change their minds. Often quick to answer and often changes their minds. This is the point on which he and Andy commiserate the most, are going to be the last three parts. They are very smart. They always have an answer for everything, and they always end up putting their foots in their mouths and kind of being slightly left of center for that reason whenever they're learning things, which, I mean, we have a sunshiny, happy-go-lucky, typical paladin who is just a fanboy teddy bear at heart at this point. Sounds kind of like your typical Gemini, but they have a dark side. Don't get entangled with the dark side, right? Right. So we're going to go on to Our Lady Fair and talk more about building an actual character sheet. Is there a correct way to build a character sheet? No. Trust me, I've played enough Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, and Vampire the Masquerade to see tons of different layouts of different ways to go about doing these character sheets. You can include any information that you so wish. For my characters, I care to know kind of what their hair looks like. I keep it all under one tab. I'm going to keep this in mind specifically is going to be our yet to be named, go vote now, female love interests physical world reality. Because as you can see up here, we describe what Micah looks like. We also describe what he looks like whenever he's as Tuxedo Starlight in game. And his personality is the same regardless of which regalia he puts on. That does not change. So let's go ahead and fill out some of this information. Hair, eyes, facial expressions, features, anything on the face, scars and so on, bodily markings, ethnicity, and build. I'm going to go ahead and fill all those out and then fill out everything I need to know about Lady Acoustica, who is going to be this pop star turned video game heroine persona. And we'll get you down to where all we need to do is add in the astrology notes with a little bit of research. See you here in a few minutes. Montage time. Welcome on back, everybody. Let's go ahead and dive on into a little bit of Malt Research, huh? So go ahead down to our notes here that we had found with well and good. I want to see the compatibility lists that they had here. I'm sorry for the scrolly whirly toward the top and see love and friendship number 4. It's gonna, I'm sorry, scrolly woolly, downy wowny. Geminis can be very thoughtful and enjoy surprising their partners. They would be most compatible with. Well, of course, they're going to point out that they really get along great with their fellow air sign. I'm looking at you, Libra. Anyway, Geminis have the most compatibly with Aquarius as well, which would be Mitch's star sign. And they get along handsomely compared to Mitch and Craig, who can't stand each other. Oh boy, Andy, why did you have to do that to the situation in book 1? Anywho, I think we are going to lean into the fact that Miss Ma'am, that you all are going to name, is a Sagittarius. I'm going to do this personally because I have a Sagittarius in my life whom I adore. My eldest brother, George, for whom Andy's dad is named, and hence Micah's last name as well. So we're going to add one more overlay here. My eldest brother, George, was a Sagittarius. So I know, good sense of humor. Like every Sagittarius I know has an amazing sense of humor. So I want to go ahead and see There is a search bar. I'm going to stay on the same website. I want to keep consistent with my research. So I'm going to use their search bar here in the upper right-hand corner. So the telltale Sagittarius traits that describe this fun, freedom-loving zodiac sign. Of course, we have our experts in the article, and there's some names that we recognize from the previous one. Hello again, my dear Rachel. So I'm going to look at some persona traits. Fire sign. Makes sense. She likes being on stage. Innate desire to roam free. She's the archer of the zodiac, so shoot your shot. Bold in her choices. Pop star makes sense for that reason, right? Are good at seeing the big picture. Tend to be very career ambitious, like Capricorns. My hubby's a Capricorn. I know all about Capricorns. So let's start taking some notes here. Good sense of humor. Career ambitious. Shoot your shot as the archer. Fire sign. Bold moves. Look at how this would complement the other people already in the party, not just Micah. So Micah could very well be like oxygen to her flame, and she could very well be combustion for his air sign. So that's really, really cool. I'm excited to see how these traits are going to play against each other for better and for worse. We're going to go ahead in my Ask the Editor Anything live streams, and I'm actually going to use tarot cards to finish outlining all the chapters now that I have a better personality gauge on our characters in total. But our dear lady friend here, Lady Acoustica, she needs a normal everyday person name. Eva Star is her character pop star stage name, but something Stratford. Go vote on my community tab if you want to go ahead and have a say in what her name would be. Also, there's a vote again for what the office would look like. Keep in mind, if you want to do some of this character building, block busting, outlining, and more into coaching and editing with me, check my website for more information before my prices go up after this Halloween in 2023. If you have any other questions, let me know. Thank you for being here on the replay, live, whenever. And check out all the other things I have to offer on the channel that's free to you in exchange for just a like, comment, or a subscribe. Above all, take care of yourself. Stop believing the lies other people tell you. I know you're worth it. Bye. Until the next one.